All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about some information that's out there in the streets about the Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. fight, and what may be one of the holdups to the fight, but at the same time, hearing that this fight definitely has a chance to get done. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going the biggest fight in boxing again, the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight. And word out there on the street about some of the negotiations that are taking place and what may be one of the holdups to the fight, which I think, if true, is a very, very surprising one. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for coming and watching the video. Please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you're a longtime subscriber, supporter to the channel, thank you guys so much for your support. Definitely hit that like button on your way out the door. All right, so let's get into this. Biggest fight in boxing right now is Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford. They've been in negotiations for a while now, I do believe a couple months. And so there's been back and forth in the public about what's going on. And so far, it had been announced that the deal was almost done. The contracts had not been signed, but they had a fight date for October 29th or something like that in Las Vegas. Floyd Mayweather Jr. turns around and says that's not true, and he will let you know when a fight is actually signed. So as of what we know right now, there is no deal signed. However, I was told that one of the issues around this fight is not just the money, because I think I've been told that was an issue, a major issue. Specifically, the biggest issue, according to Stephen Espinoza, who said that somebody wants Mayweather money for this fight. Is it a big fight? Yes, it is a Mayweather-Pacquiao type of fight. No. So we're not going to be paying Mayweather type of money for that, right? So then people talked about whether it was like $20 million guarantee that Terence Crawford wanted with the 50-50 pay-per-view split. Word then comes out that the 50-50 pay-per-view split, they worked that out, that it was now it's 55-45 for Errol, but Terence still said, and he said this in an interview on DAZN, that they still have to work out the business of it. I'm being told that one of the remaining issues is a rematch clause, and a one-directional rematch clause in the favor of Errol Spence. Now, what does that mean? Usually when you have, championship fights, you've got big fights, you have rematch clauses, right? So if one party says, like, for example, Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury had a rematch clause in the fight with Deontay Wilder, which meant that if he lost a fight, he would be able to get a rematch. Eddie Hearn pretty much has a rematch clause in every single solitary fight he has, no matter who it is, which is an absolute abuse of the principle, in my opinion. But that's why you see, Alexander Povetkin, who isn't even fighting for a real title, against Dillian Whyte, knocks out Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte can exercise a rematch clause. Right? So in this particular instance, I'm told that Terence Crawford wants a rematch clause. Errol Spence Jr. will have a can have a rematch clause in his deal. Terence Crawford wants a rematch in his deal, and I don't know whether it's Errol Spence Jr.'s camp holding that up or Terence Crawford's camp holding that up. But I was told that that the details of the rematch clause are also something that these guys are talking about. Now, I doubt very much that that's a make 'em or break 'em type and make it or break it type of issue, because both of these guys said when they win this fight that they want to move on, right? So Errol Spence Jr. says if he beats Terence Crawford, he wants to move. He's going to go to 154 after that. Terence Crawford said he beats Errol Spence Jr. He's going to want to move on after that. But what happens if Terence Crawford loses? What happens if Errol Spence Jr. loses? Does the team want another a rematch? Right now, that's something that Antonio Tarver had talked about when he said, talked about how to get the fight done and how it should get done. And he said, with this type of fight, you should basically have a 3-fight deal. You have for Terence Crawford. Now, one fight with Terence Crawford would probably be, a tune-up fight, or not necessarily a tune-up fight, but a fight to introduce him to Showtime pay-per-view, right? And then after that would be a fight with Errol. And if Errol wins, a rematch for Terence. If Terence wins, a rematch for Errol, so that you have one more, you have more than one fight in that scenario, right? So that's what I'm being told is one of the things that is being discussed, and that one side or the other has an issue with. I wasn't told exactly which side had the issue, whether it was Terence Crawford that had an issue with giving Errol a rematch, or whether it was Errol's that had it. Now, my personal belief is that is in a lot of times is not something that the fighter himself may be asking for, but maybe something that the management or somebody like that is asking for, just to be on the safe side. Like, for example, Canelo Alvarez goes into every mismatch fight he has with a rematch clause. So even if he really does believe that he's going to win the fight, they put that rematch clause in there. So just in case something goes wrong, right? You may throw your back out. You may, right? Something crazy may happen. You may get a big cut that ends the fight, right? In the fifth, by a punch that ends the fight in the fifth round, where, it's just something that's some anomaly. So to protect against those anomalies, you want a rematch clause. So don't get me wrong in this particular situation. I'm not saying that, Errol thinks he's going to lose to Terence and Terence thinks he's going to lose to Errol. That's not the vibe that I got. Just what I got was that the rematch clause is one of the issues of the details. Now, details getting worked out. Now, for me, if they're actually to the point of talking about that is probably a very good sign, because the only way you're going to really get to that is if you are at least somewhat past that money issue, which again, Steven Espinoza said was a very, very big deal, and an attempt to get Bud versus, he didn't say Bud by name or Terence Crawford by name, but he said, to get everybody reasonable about what's going on, or to be reasonable about what's going on. It sounds like he's talking that's, if you get to the to talking about rematch clauses, then you're getting a little bit closer, to the deal actually getting done. You're talking about, I would suspect issues like, like venue. You'd be talking about issues like, what's the percentage of foreign pay-per-view rights or foreign television rights if they're going to show the fight in Mexico or sell the fight into Europe and have have somebody, a European outlet. When you're getting into deals like that, it looks like the fight is getting closer. So I certainly hope that my sources are correct about that. Now, again, not every, this is all, people that are close to it, but, doesn't always pan out to be 100% accurate. Obviously, that's what the camps say all the time. That's what happened with Mike Coppinger when he said the fight announcement was imminent. But anyway, we'll see. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.